Hi, Sunnybrook family. My name is Heather Miner. For those of you that don't know me, I was asked to talk a little bit about loving your neighbors. And that's something I didn't always do very well. The home we live in right now, we've been in for about 10 years. And for the first few years we were here, I did a lot of grumbling and complaining and whining about my neighbors. Just as we got moved in here and settled in for the first few years, it became really apparent that we lived completely different lifestyles and had different morals, different values, different ideas on child rearing than a lot of our neighbors, and it created a lot of tension between many of us, to the point where our family was planning on moving. We were no longer planning on living here. We're going to put our house on the market. For about a year and a half, I would say, we attempted to put our house on the market, and every single time we tried to, something came up, job changes, health issues, just many different things. And for whatever reason, every single time we tried to move and get out of this neighborhood, we were unable to. So after about a year and a half of fighting with this, my husband and I both looked at each other, and we just felt like we were supposed to be here still for a reason. And so we weren't sure if that was going to be for another 6 months or 6 years or possibly longer than that. But we felt like we were supposed to be really intentional with the time that we were here, and we felt like we were supposed to love our neighbors well. And that began with us praying and confessing our sin and asking for forgiveness of all the grumbling and whining and complaining we had done for the first few years we lived here about our neighbors, and just being so discontent that we were ready to just split and get out of here. And then after that, we were not really sure where to go on how to build these relationships, but we started by baking little treats, baking cookies. Our kids would help us bake treats and stuff, and then, or we would make little mason jars and fill them with flowers, and then we would sit down and we would write notes of encouragement. And we live kind of in a rural area. We live on one big loop of about 20 houses, and so we would take these cards of encouragement and treats, and as a family we would go walk around this loop and pass those out. And we would do that on holidays or just random days whenever we felt like just going by and encouraging people. Or we also just tried to begin to go on walks as a family in the evenings and catch people while they were out, and instead of just waving and walking by, we just tried to make sure and strike up some conversation and begin to get to know these people. We also invited kids over to our house, or we played in our front yard instead of our backyard. We tried to have like little fun events where it would just kind of attract kids over to our house. And as you get to know the kids in the neighborhood, then you just kind of slowly get to know their parents. So just over the course, it probably took about 2 years of being really intentional and just trying to do things to get to know our neighbors in our neighborhood. And there's still, a few houses where we haven't been able to connect with everybody. But many of these people we've built awesome relationships with them, and we've loved getting to know them. And they've confided, a lot of things with us. We've walked with people. We have people that have gone through divorce. We have people that have been widowed. We have parents that have struggled with addiction. We have someone that had lived in this neighborhood for a really long time that we all knew that took his own life. And so it's just we've had a lot of different things that we've walked through together now that have really bonded and created deep relationships. And I was just thinking the other day, and I was thinking of just the different pain and different suffering and different things that I've been able to walk alongside these neighbors with, and that they've kind of confided in us with are many of the things that I was grumbling and whining and complaining about. I guess I wanted a neighborhood that was just full of a bunch of Christians that loved the Lord, that raised their kids the same way, that had the same values, the same morals. And I was frustrated that that's not what we had. But our neighborhood is completely representative of the world we live in. It's broken homes, it's pain, it's suffering. But they're people that the Lord loves and that He wants us to love. And if you ask Him for it, He will give you a heart to love those people. And He will also give you opportunity to love those people. So just ask Him.